Diesel for We the People News. This is more of an update of Nicholas Wildstar. Subscribe to him. He's awesome. And I talked about his court date, but I'm kind of giving you guys a feel of what he was like.
Have any specific etiquette with regard?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am really excited because today I have Nicholas Wildstar. He is a libertarian activist. He ran for mayor in Fresno, California. And along with Nicholas Wildstar, I have Martha Bueno, my very good friend. And I just love the names Wildstar and Bueno, and I think that you both have like stage names, except I know Martha Bueno's real name is Martha Bueno. What about you, Mr. Wildstar?
Nicholas Wildstar is my real name, born and raised. So.
I wish I had a super cool name like that.
You do, of course.
I mean,
you are a superstar.
Oh, thank you, superstar.
Well, thank you for having me here, superstar. Pleasure to be speaking with the both of you.
Thank you so much for being here. So, Nicholas, what is going on? We heard that you're facing a 6-year jail sentence for being disorderly or something like that. What's going on here?
Exactly. You know how the machine is. They don't like it when us subjects get unruly, and that's exactly what's happening here in the state of California, and Orange County in particular, which I hate to tell you is predominantly white. The black population in Orange County makes up about less than 2%. So I used to live there for about 6 years in Fullerton. And before I moved to Fresno a few years ago. And while I was there, I was very active in the community as what's called a First Amendment auditor, which is basically someone that videotapes, public officials in their line of duty, whether it be at a police station, during a traffic stop, at a post office, or at a courthouse. My first experience of this actually came from a traffic stop and meeting other First Amendment auditors that were involved in, I believe, a DUI checkpoints, recording DUI checkpoints and stuff like that, and started to gain a bit of a reputation of rolling with that group of people. And so I've been stopped a multitude of times in Fullerton for several reasons, for walking while black on Martin Luther King Day of all days, riding my bicycle at a gas station, all sorts of things. So I have videos on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which has about over 6 million views thanks to these type of occurrences. And although I wasn't seeking to, of course, get involved in those type of incidents, I did do my best to publicize them as much as possible. So basically what happened was I ended up having to go to court for some traffic citations. That walking while black incident actually ended up turning into a civil suit against the Orange County Sheriff's Department and Fullerton Police, and I ended up winning that lawsuit.
When it came to my weight, I was told to eat less and just move more.
But the weight always came back.
During, first I had to battle charges for resisting arrest, since I was arrested for fitting the description of a robbery and refused to, go with the officer since I wasn't the suspect. And this video again is on YouTube. I was arrested within maybe 60 seconds or so, and I asked the officer in the video, is the only reason why you're, questioning me is because I'm black? And he answered yes, and shortly after I was in handcuffs. So I had to fight against criminal charges for resisting arrest, which thankfully I was able to beat, and then turn that into a civil suit, which I, again, ended up winning. So as this was happening, I was informed by my attorney that I had some traffic tickets to basically take care of. So I went
just in case, I just want to pause, and you guys really do need to check out his web channel, because he pushes forward, y'all. He's trying everything he can do to even get inside the Beltway, and I have to be honest. These elections he lost, I still lean into fraud. I'm not factually accurate on that. I don't live in California or anything like that. But he had a great following, but just could not get over that hill with the establishment. And the only way he really lost is because the voting deal was on the other side instead of on his side. And when you're independent, you're enemies of both sides, Democrats and Republicans. So, I'm gonna have to stress out to y'all. Order to get our country back, if you're going to vote, we really need to start voting independents to tear down the walls of this divide and conquer of Republicans and Democrats. And regardless what some people think, they're both one and the same. And I more believe on the libertarian side of what's good for the people. Now, will it change in the future? It can. Power corrupts. But then you always got the other three to back up on, Democrat or Republicans.
To Orange County to deal with those cases, and when I appeared in court, the judge let me know that the case had been dismissed. These were 2 court appearances, so I went to both dates. One was in September 11th, the other was in September 21st, about 10 days later. But I appeared in court for both cases and was informed by the judge both times that the cases had been dismissed, but there still remained a civil assessment, which is basically a fine for the crime. So why should I still have to pay a fine if I am, not guilty of the crime? So I informed the judge of this, all the while recording this using my cell phone. So
we talked about that in the last video. It was dismissed. Most likely they didn't have enough evidence, and yet he still had to pay a fine for being innocent.
I was informed by the judge in both cases to stop recording. I let them know that lawfully I was able to record. It is a constitutionally protected right under the First Amendment, freedom of press and freedom to protest against those charges, of course, and the Sixth Amendment, which says that we have the right to a public trial. And if this is a public forum, then there is no reason why what's happening in the courtroom should not be, seen publicly. So I informed the judge of this, not to mention there's a California law that actually protects this as well, but I was told that due to the court order, which is basically a sign on the door when you go in the courtroom, it says no cell phones, no recording. And again, if I have a constitutional right that supersedes that, then there isn't any reason for me at all to acknowledge.
We'll go back into judges do not have this power. We're under the illusion they had this power. And just like the last video, we all bow down to the king.
That I can ignore with impunity. So I informed the judge that I was exercising my constitutionally protected right, and he argued against that, escorted me out of the courtroom by multiple police officers, and these were appearances in court that maybe lasted about 5 minutes each. But I left the courtroom, again on my own recognizance, pretty much, and ended up finding out.
Going on my 30th year, fourth year apprentice for over 36 years. 22 years now. I've been in this.
Later on, during my run for mayor of Fresno, I was traveling to an event in Santa Cruz and was pulled over driving while black. Another video on YouTube, and ended up finding out that I had warrants for my arrest for those 2 appearances, which I was completely unaware of. So I was released from jail about 12 hours later, and ended up going to court again in December to dispute those civil or those contempt of court charges. So during the third appearance, I didn't record it all. I didn't let them know I was recording. They suspected I was recording based on my previous cases, and pretty much were harassing me over that. But I got to speak with the judge and informed him that basically that I was refusing to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty because the charges were spurious to begin with. So instead of hearing me out, it turned into this back and forth type of negotiation to where it ended up with me being taken into custody right then and there. And I was arrested and held for about 10 days. I spent my son's first Christmas in jail and missed that, unfortunately. And they were trying to hold me longer, but I bailed out before they had an attempt to do so. So fast forward to now, since that was in 2019, basically I ended up having to go through the rigmarole of, this trial and all of that to fight those charges for, I guess, contempt of court and disturbing the peace. So the actual laws, I guess, that they're saying I broke is PC 166A and PC 166. What was
you have
it?
166A1 and 166A3.
Right. So the dialogue for both is actually the same. And during the trial, this was actually brought up by my attorney that, since the language of the two are the same, it's a possibility that the charges are the same.
Like him very much. But the problem he has at this point in time, once he got an attorney, now the courts have jurisdiction. And he kept on saying, in person, never say that. You stand as a man. Alright.
Charge. I'm being double charged. And the judge acknowledged this, but said that he would leave it up to the jury to decide during the trial. But the way the prosecutor explained the charges to the jury, he never made that distinction, nor did the judge. So I was charged and found guilty of 6 counts of these charges. The 3 for 166A, PC 166A, and PC.
Listen to what he said. The attorneys never gave that distinctions, that they're both the same. So his attorney basically screwed him over too. I'm going to end off on that one, and I'm going to record the last one, the court case. This is for We the People News. Bye, y'all.